Good evening and hello, everyone. Do you remember in whatever corner of the United States you're from or the world, in whatever house of worship, there was a thing called read through the Bible in 1 year? Now, I believe that they were well meaning. And for me and for some of my friends, it turned into a bit of a race, as it were. Um, the stories were interesting, starting from the book of Genesis on through Exodus. You have the story of the world's creation, you have the worldwide flood and the big boat, and you have the tower, the building of the Tower of Babel, and then you have the Exodus into the wilderness and all of the stories. Let my people go, shlachet ami, shlachet ami. Right? But we would all run into a brick wall when we got to one book in particular. What was that book? Leviticus, or Vayikra in Hebrew. What is the purpose of Leviticus? What is it really all about? You know, with all of the gore, a lot of visuals here, furniture being built, a lot of meticulous things and instructions, and on and on and on, the colors and everything else. This will be the broad focus of this short video today, so please stay with me. Having said that, Shalom Lechem. Excuse me. אנשים טובים וברוכים הבאים לערוץ הקטן שלי. Welcome back to my little channel. And I want to give you, or I want to offer the opportunity to say thank you for joining me on this latest edition of Podcast Sacrum, where the goal is to empower the believer with biblical knowledge that will bring about balance, and that balance would foster positive forward and upward movement in this walk that we call life. My name is David, and I am your host. How do I fit also, keep that smooth? How do I fit in and also ask the tough questions and challenge sacred cow beliefs? I'll have to work on that on my own time. So, Vayikra, and he called. The book we call Leviticus is called Vayikra, and he called. And the he, of course, is the Most High when he calls to Moshe in the opening of the book from the door of the Ohel Moed, or the tent of meeting. But there is a time when the Most High called to Moshe earlier, before this book. And I want to share with you really briefly. I want to take us to the book of Exodus. I'll take us to the book of Exodus briefly, chapter 3. You can get ahead of me. And we're just going to look at a couple of verses, all right? And I want to highlight in particular, I got to get to the right channel. That might help. All right, channel, right chapter. So in chapter 3, take a look here. And I want to start at verse 4 here. We're just going to read a couple of verses here, and I want to highlight one word that's going to kind of be the focus of what we're doing here. Verse 4 of Exodus chapter 3, Vayar Adonai, and the Most High saw, Kisar lirot, that he was wandering, or he was straying in order to look. So the backdrop here, of course, is Moshe is an everyday Joe, and he's out there herding sheep, and he sees a spectacle. He sees something in the distance. What is it? An everyday, regular old thorn bush on rolling, or there on the side of the hill, possibly there in the Midbar, in the wilderness. But there was a flame of fire burning this sneh, or this thorn bush, yet the thorn bush was not being consumed. We're going to come back to that. And I'm going to mention a point about that, just an observation. Okay, so Moshe wants to get closer and take a look, which is a no-no. And right here we pick up in verse 4, after the Most High sees Moshe straying to take a look. Vayikra elav Elohim mitoch hasneh. And the Most High called out to Moshe from inside of the thorn bush. And he says, look at that, twice. He calls his name twice. Moshe, Moshe. So you remember, Abraham was getting ready to, in the book of Genesis, to kill Isaac, his son. And the messenger calls out, messenger of the Most High calls out to him, and he says, Abraham, Abraham. So there's a sense of urgency. Same thing I think happened with Shmuel, the prophet. Uh, um, and the high priest, I believe it was, told him, next time you hear that, answer and say what Moshe, something similar Moshe says. So he calls out to Moshe, 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 and he answers, Hineni, Hineni, here I am. Now here, right here, I want you to take a look at what I want to call the focus word here, the 3-letter root of the focus word of this short video. Right here, Kuf, Resh, and Vet, Karav, or we get the word Karov or Krova, which means close, Bekarov, which means soon, but more precisely, Karban, Karban, or sacrifice is the root where we get this word. Now, we're going to pick up what the Most High says to him. Vayomer, and he said, the he being the Most High, Al tikrav halom, al tikrav karov karban tikrav. Don't you draw close, or don't come close to here. Shal ne'alecha me'al raglecha. Remove from your feet your shoes, okay? Remove from up on your feet your shoes. Get the skin of the dead animal off your feet and cast them out of here. Why? Ki hamakom asher ata omed alav admat kodesh hu. Because the place on which you are standing on it, on him or on it, admat kodesh hu, it is holy. The ground is holy. Now, how does Moshe react? Okay, he reacts the way that we all should react, and I'm going to show you right here. After the Most High introduces himself and tells him, Anochi Elohei Avicha, I am the God of your fathers. Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Velohei Yaakov. I am the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Here's what the smart guy does. All right. Here's what the person who knows or can see what their situation is about does. Vayaster Moshe panav, and Moshe hid his face. Why? Ki yareh mehabit el Elohim, because he was fearful of taking a glimpse at the God, at Ha-Elohim. Of course, he goes on and gives Moshe his message that he hurt the people and the whole nine before the story continues. Go back to that sneh or that thorn bush for a second. Go back to that thorn bush for a second. So the thorn bush is a normal everyday thorn bush, rolling through the midbar, okay, dime a dozen. You see them all the time. But when the Most High decides to use a messenger inside of a flame of fire and speak to Moshe through a messenger from inside of this bush, and the bush is not burning, it was a spectacle that caused Moshe. It made that bush stand out. It made that bush supernatural. Okay. How much different is Moshe at that point? He's an everyday Joe. He's a shepherd, and he's there tending sheep. But when the Most High chose him and picked him, he elevated him, and he made him a spectacle. He comes down from receiving the Aseret HaDibrot, the 10 Commandments from the top of Har Sinai, and his face is glowing, and the people are fearful and afraid of him. So again, just a little bit of encouragement here that if the Most High picks and chooses and calls you, he takes that which is lowly and he elevates it. He elevates it. So as it was with Moshe, so it can be with you and I. So here's what I want to do. The second place we're going to go to, the second of 3 places that we're going to go to. And here is Leviticus chapter 8, if you want to get there and ahead of me a little bit. And I want to take you to verse 6. And before I read verse 6, or before we read it together here, I want to highlight, there's that root word of ours again. There is Kof, Resh, and Vet. Okay. Moshe's relationship with the Most High was something very special, in that that the Most High, through refining and through trial and through face-to-face conversation, gave Moshe a sanctity and a level of holiness uh, up until the point of Mashiach, uh, uh, something that no one had ever experienced. Remember, Moshe spoke with the Most High, panim mul panim, panim mul panim, face to face. As it said, the kedusha, or the level of sanctity, or the level of holiness of Moses, the kedusha of Moshe was not shlema; it was not perfect. But just like the bush, the regular old thorn bush, the Most High allowed Moshe into his space and did not consume him. Did not consume him. Okay, so now we have a person that's been elevated. Okay, and he's been washed and he's been sanctified, and now watch in turn. And this is pushing us toward the meaning of the book of Leviticus, in part, but primarily, I believe. This gives Moshe the ability to do what he's getting ready to do now. Look at that. Verse 6. Vayakrev Moshe et Aharon ve'et banav vayirhatzotam b'mayim, and brought near Moshe Aaron and his sons, and he washed them in water. Now, of course, we know that, this means to draw near, but the Torah could have used a different word. It could have used vayigash Moshe, that Moshe drew near in that way, kind of like the 12 or the brothers drew near to Yosef when they didn't know it was Yosef. Once he yeah. So anyway, could have used that word. But this is the root of our word sacrifice. Think of it like this. Moshe, in a sense, did sacrifice. And of course, I'm not talking about cutting and chopping up X, Y, and Z. But he brought them near in an acceptable way to the Most High. And the only way that he could bring them near is because he had drawn near to the Most High, and the Most High brought him near to him and gave him the authority to do so. Moshe inaugurated the priests. So you can also say that Moshe served not only as mediator, but in order to inaugurate the priest, you have to be priestly in some manner. You see where I'm coming from? So anyway, again, that's just a thought. So the point of this is that Moshe had been sanctified by the Most High through this process, through refining, through trial, X, Y, and Z, and on and on. And then Moshe reaches down and grabs a hold of others, and he pulls them up. And he pulls them up. This is the point of Leviticus. The Most High sanctifies someone, Mashiach, through trial, through process, through pain, through all of these things, okay? And in turn, he can sprinkle many. Isaiah 53, he can sprinkle and bring righteousness to many. Again, Ozen, he who has an ear, let him hear. So Moshe reaches down and brings his brothers up. Last place we're going to go to. Last place that we're going to go to will be, how about this? We're going to go to our last place to share. And that is Pirkei Avot. Pirkei Avot, called sometimes the wisdom of the fathers, those who have pondered Torah. And I want you to see something here. First of all, I'm pretty sure you've guessed that our root word is going to be here. Matter of fact, it's right here. Okay? If you take a look at this exchange, it says, Hillel v'Shammai kiblu mehem. Hillel and Shammai received. It says oral tradition from them, X, Y, and Z. Clearly, obviously, up for debate, X, Y, and Z. You can find, I also want to add the note, there are a lot of people who have issues with the extra biblical writings, or those who have pondered Torah. I have no idea why. I do have some idea why. But there's a lot of good that you can find, period, when people are pondering the word of the Most High. So sometimes you have to open your mind and open your heart and look, and you would be, surprised what you would find. Here it says, Hillel said, Hevi mitalmidav shel Aharon. He says, be like the students of Aharon, the brother of Moshe. How? Ohev shalom, love peace, verodef shalom, and pursue peace. Ohev et habriot, love humankind or mankind. Umekarvan, there's our root word. Umekarvan le Torah, and bring them close to the Torah. Sacrifice them. Bring them close. How can you do that, though? How can you and I do that? The only way that you and I can do that, there's our word there, kof, resh, vet, umekarvan le Torah, and bring them close to the Torah. How can you and I do that? The only way that you and I can do that is to set our lives aside and dedicate our lives to the service of the Most High and to His Mashiach, to study His Word and to learn of His ways, spend time with Him in prayer. Of course, study the teachings of Yeshua. Study them. Live a life like Yeshua. Walk in His steps, okay? Walk in His steps, okay? The Most High will elevate you. He will change you from glory to glory. Yeah, that's it for today. Of course, again, we have furniture that's made. We have the temple, the instructions for the temple, how it's to be built. All of these things, the different sacrifices. It's an exhaustive. It's a lot of information. But overall, if you look into the book of Vayikra, you can find the heart of the Most High. You can find the heart of the Most High and His desire for your life and our life, to set ourselves apart and to build Him a sanctuary so that He can dwell within us. Okay, let your light so shine before men that they see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. All right, that's it for now. Until the next time, I look forward to seeing you all again. Let me know what you think. Give me your thoughts on Vayikra. Give me, over the years, what you've experienced with this book. I'm interested to hear feedback from you. And, of course, as always, if this has been thought-provoking in any type of way, if it's offered you any insight or anything good and useful, I'm asking that you would consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to this channel. Until the next time, take care, everybody, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Shalom.